So that raises the question, how should your team respond? The answer is fairly straightforward. Invest in creating quality digital advertising experiences for your customers. When customers find content that they deem valuable, trustworthy, and deserving of attention, they will spend energy on it. Now, that's a high bar, but the payoff for reaching that high bar is worth it. So, what stands out as a quality experience for consumers? A quality experience requires a complete end-to-end narrative that starts with the ad and remains consistent through the landing page all the way to conversion. It's built around personalized data and relevant content. So let's dig into the specifics. An effective customer journey requires three things. Personalization. Now, this is a term that I'm sure we've all heard. It's constantly overused and frequently misunderstood. What do we mean by personalization beyond just the pre-click stage, creating precise audiences or ad groups in Google or Facebook or what have you? It comes down to a few simple questions. How well do you know your audience? Can your ad reflect that knowledge? And can your conversion journey bring that to life? You need to understand the unique draw that brings each customer to your brand or your product or your service. And then you need to align the content around that appeal. Yes, you may have a great product or service, but what makes it great for that specific customer? Your customer journeys should be unique to each audience, providing relevant content and unique touch points. That's the best way to grab and hold a customer's attention from interest all the way to conversion. So the second point, relevancy. What is relevant content in digital marketing? Well, consider the medium that your audience is viewing your content on, or even the device that a customer might be using. So someone who's browsing a TikTok video or just scrolling through their social media feed is very likely in a different headspace and seeking different goals than someone who's performing deep research and is on page 3 of a Google search. So when your customer clicks on your ad, are they brought to a catch-all landing page or your company homepage and then expected to connect the dots between the messaging that caught their attention and then the content that will provide the value that's hidden deep within your website? Or is each ad connected to a landing page that provides a payoff for the ad or messaging that caught their attention in the first place? So this is where the third point comes into play, intent. Digital ads need to be built for the channel that they're being displayed on. And that means mobile ready, desktop ready, and unique conversion funnels for different sales channels. One size fits all no longer cuts it. So the journey that follows each of those ads, all of that messaging, needs to reflect the intent that the customer shows. So once you have these strategies in place, you can start building a customer-centric narrative. The focus of your stories, your copy, your design, all need to be around the customer, not your product, not your service, not your business accomplishments. Those details might serve to bring your customer along if they're in the right headspace or the right customer, but you need to be focused on them, not on you. So these are the must-haves of the modern day digital customer journey. Without these, you're just another quick ad to scroll past and ignore. The name of the game is that the customer has to be the star of the show from start to finish. So that brings us to, we talked about the marketer side. Let's talk a little bit about the machine side. What tools can your marketing department use to deliver this sort of experience? When we performed our survey, the results showed that companies have turned to automation and machine learning to improve their customer experiences and grow and scale their businesses. And the challenge is, as the competition adopts these technologies, marketers like us will face a hard choice: adapt or fall behind. That brings me to our next trend. AI copywriting will power digital personalization. So I would like you to do me a favor. Throw away any misconceptions you might have about machine learning. AI is not here to take our jobs, to replace the role of marketers in digital advertising. On the contrary, it's here to enhance them. It's less like the Matrix or Terminator, you know, where machine and human are in conflict and only one can prevail. It's more like Tony Stark in his Iron Man suit, you know, machine and human working hand in glove to become more than the sum of their parts. So why artificial intelligence? The shift to a digital first world brought a long overdue focus on personalization, that first of the 3 points that I talked about earlier. So for example, Google is going all in on machine learning and AI for search ads. You may have heard that that text ads are going to be limited to responsive search ads. Google's own will, at the end of this month, Google is sunsetting everything but their responsive search ad option, which is a big investment and bet that machine learning can provide a better advertising experience for most customers. But there's a few other examples. For example, the cloud-based software company Celtra uses artificial intelligence to develop creative for ads and websites. So actual design no longer is in the realm of just artists. And on that same note, copywriting is no longer strictly in the hands of copywriters. So today I want to focus on how AI is changing something that's near and dear to my heart: copywriting. With a larger and more engaged consumer base flocking to e-commerce, creating copy at scale has become a struggle. If you have, you know, hundreds or dozens of unique customer journeys to multiple different audience segments, that's a lot of copy to write. That's a lot of emails to write. That's a lot of ads to write. It's a lot of landing page copy to write. And honestly, that's a challenge that AI can solve. So how many of you have ever heard of copy.ai? Let's see some hands. Okay, how about this one? Grammarly. Who here uses Grammarly? All right, there we go. What about Hemingway app? So these are some technologies that are currently helping everyday people improve their writing using artificial intelligence. AI has made major strides in digital marketing, and it's now becoming an essential part of scalable business practices. So if you open your phones right now and you go to text somebody, I guarantee you that without typing out a full word, you could compose a paragraph long, message without ever completing a full word using tools like autocorrect or having the phone complete the word for you. So AI is used to help us refine our writing. It's used to help us find the perfect tone for our messaging. And it helps us predict how to finish our sentences or compose our syntax. So if you don't believe me, I don't blame you, but I'd like to play a game with you all. So I'm going to put 2 sets of advertising copy up on the screen right now. And I want you to tell me which of these ads was written by a machine. Ready? There's enough poop to go around. Say goodbye to diaper rash and hello to a happier baby. Our plant-based diaper won't irritate your baby's delicate skin. Diaper, it's a match. Save money on diapers without compromising your baby's comfort. Our plant-based diaper is soft and absorbent, and it keeps your baby dry and comfortable. All right, so by a show of hands, who thinks that this top option, there's enough poop to go around, was written by an AI? All right, I'm seeing some hands. Diaper, it's a match. Who thinks that this is the one that's written by AI? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretty good numbers. Whoops. So both of these headlines and sets of copy were written by AI copywriters. Raise your hand if you were surprised by that outcome. So be honest. So let's look at some human written alternatives to that copy. I won't read these ones out. So take a second and just review this. Do you see that much of a difference between the copy written by a program, by an AI, and copy written by human copywriters? Yes? No? So with the right data and the right oversight, AI can create copy that's indistinguishable from a copywriter's work. Of course, it needs help in order to get there, but this technology can unlock huge scaling power for advertisers. So let's look at another example, and I'm not going to have you guess on this one. So this example comes from a campaign that Chase Banking did with their AI partner Persado as a part of a test run for their AI-driven copy. The one on the left was written by Chase's professional copywriters, and the right was written by Persado's AI writer. The results? Chase saw as high as a 450% lift in click-through rates on ads that were created by an AI, compared with others in the 50 to 200% range. Now, of course, AI won't be able to write the next best-selling novel or screenplay, although I'm sure Hollywood is hard at work at that right now, or Netflix for that matter. But what if you had to send out thousands of personalized emails to each of your different ad segments or audiences for your product or your company? Well, that's exactly what eBay does. So using AI, eBay is able to personalize thousands of emails to your without putting any strain on their internal copywriting teams. So for Chase and for eBay, personalized content at this scale was previously considered logistically impossible and financially irresponsible. But neither of these industry giants went straight to AI when they were looking for solutions. It's not about writing, it's about data. The benefit of AI copywriting is that it removes the potential for human bias and instead replaces that with data-driven creation, because it's not being built out of human expertise, but rather analyzing what has worked in the past for specific audiences and then creating new copy based on what works. So here's the good news for professional copywriters like myself. AI will never, so here's the eBay example. You can see that they're creating, this is similar to the example we looked at previously. This is fairly indistinguishable from something that a human copywriter might put together. So the good news for professional copywriters like me is that AI will never be a self-sufficient practice. It requires a human touch and expertise to integrate any AI tool into your brand, to adjust it to your consumer base, and to have it meet your marketing goals. But with the right balance of human expertise and guidance, machine-driven content can be a major opportunity to scale your marketing efforts and better grow your business to meet your consumers' needs. That brings me to the next big trend that we see in digital marketing. In order to capitalize on this AI-powered technology, advertisers are going to need to work with a specialist partner. There's a few reasons for this. One, the learning curve is steep. AI is becoming essential to sustainable growth and long-term success, but even with advancements in this technology, there's still a bit of a struggle. The steep learning curve comes with a variety of pitfalls that marketers can fall into if this isn't implemented properly. Like I said, this is emerging technology, and you really do need a specialist to integrate it with your marketing stack. And so the other challenge is that implementing marketing machine learning within your organization from the ground up is hard. You need a lot of data for AI and machine learning to run autonomously. It can take a long time to build up reliable and robust data models from customer behavior data. And when you're starting from scratch, not only do you need to build these data models, you need to find a way to integrate AI into your stack in order to start feeding it that data so that the decisions and choices that the machine learning systems come to make are informed by data. But even then, you need a substantial amount of data in order to even start identifying patterns and making decisions. So that begs the question, where do you start? Early adoption is the best way forward. And there's a pretty obvious reason for this. If this technology allows you to scale, then if your competitors begin to implement this technology ahead of you, they are going to see the benefits sooner, which means this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Marketers need to adapt to these new technologies or risk falling behind the competition. And the thing is, this isn't a fad, this isn't a prediction. AI is here to stay. We just talked about some examples in which machine learning and AI are integrated into our daily lives already. So if you don't start soon, you're going to find yourself way behind the bar when competitors start to see results with their AI solutions. So what's the answer to that? Invest in a specialist. Don't do this on your own because, like I said, where do you start? Having a specialist partner will be key to managing and maximizing your AI initiatives. AI can tell you what is or isn't performing, but it can't build authentic narratives or unique designs or end-to-end experiences without the help of a specialist. So while AI can capture insights and analyze data and track conversion influences, you need a conversion rate optimization specialist to capitalize on those results. And without expert oversight, you could just end up creating the same problem all over again, cranking out underwhelming content at a vast scale that leads to your audience becoming oversaturated with messaging that doesn't work. So the hybrid model of human expertise and data power is the ideal way for marketers like us to leverage machine learning. We predict that marketers who adopt this model will see higher conversion rates than those who don't. And at Postclick, we're already seeing significant success with our own hybrid model. So technology like this is nothing without data, and lots of it. Without reliable customer data, you won't have the insights you need to create successful outcomes. There are a few ways that you can start building your data insights today. So This is a good point to get out your pencils. One, dive deeper into your personalization investments. Seek new opportunities to understand your audience behavior and the triggers for purchase decisions. Two, personalization requires precise targeting. Reevaluate your audiences. Grow your audience segments. Break them out into micro audiences based on different conversion influence. And analyze data on a more granular basis. All this is to say, you'll need to harness the power of data before you can see a return on your AI investment. As you can see by our reports here at the bottom, many marketers are already on top of this. 46% of marketing leaders see a lot of room for improvement in personalization. 75% see that personalizing their landing page experiences will be very important to their success. This is something that leading marketers are already on top of. And like I said, if your competition is already getting a head start, that's not good news in the future. So don't look at optimization opportunities as a way to refine your existing campaigns or just hit higher conversion rates in the short term. Optimization reveals a lot about performance, but it can also shed light on the customers that we're targeting. If you're unsure if your team has the tools to experiment and learn at a scale like this, it might be time to invest in new tools. So I'd like to tell you about some exciting new advancements in experimentation and data. A big advancement in experimentation that's become more widespread is the use of something called a multi-armed bandit algorithm. This term comes from a thought experiment, a theoretical experiment. In this scenario, picture a person at Red Hot Casino. Standing in front of a row of slot machines. Each of these slot machines has an unknown payout. Some of them will pay out more money, some of them will pay out less. And the gambler doesn't know what is going to be the highest payout, which machine will pay out more. So how do you figure out which one is going to pay out the most? Well, you start by running an A/B test. You test each of them evenly and see what the results are. So then as the gambler plays and determines how often it plays, he can find an ideal amount to play each machine. If the data shows that one machine is paying out more frequently than others, he can start to focus on that one and deprecate the ones that aren't paying out. So this is how a multi-armed bandit algorithm works for landing page tests as well. You create multiple variations on your landing page for one ad or ad group, and then direct the traffic evenly at first to those variations. As the traffic goes in, certain variations are going to be more effective at resonating with the specific audience. And so the algorithm will start feeding more ad traffic to the more successful variations during the testing cycle and less traffic to the ones that aren't working. So this has a few benefits over A/B testing. You know, typically in A/B testing, you have to wait for statistical significance. You have to run tests over and over and over and over again in order to learn what works better. But that means for the duration of that testing cycle, you are, by definition, sending your traffic, potential conversions, potential revenue, to a page that is the worst version. Using the multi-armed bandit algorithm, you can send that traffic instead to a version that is more likely to succeed. This has a few clear benefits. It means you don't have to wait for the end of the testing cycle to start capitalizing on results. It means that you can reduce wasted conversion opportunities, reduce wasted ad spend, and create fewer poor experiences that don't pay out for your business. This dynamic system is also able to test multiple page aspects at once. So no more A/B testing whether the red button works better than the blue button. You can test the red, the button, the video, the copy, the headline, all of it. And this can help you to achieve the highest possible outcome with your advertising spend. So we've talked a lot about, what new technologies are going to become prevalent in the future. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, automated personalization. But as marketers, we know that the future isn't entirely bright. There are some challenges that have happened even in the last year that have shaken the way that most of us approach digital advertising. We are anticipating a cookieless world. In the future, greater privacy controls are going to limit the amount of data that marketers have access to improve their campaign journeys. We are all familiar with the Apple iOS 14.5 update that had the app tracking transparency update, which limits the ability for advertisers like Facebook to track behavior on mobile devices. Some advertisers saw a big hit from this. Others, it still remains to be seen whether or not this is going to significantly impact their business. But it's something that we all need to be aware of. This is the direction that the industry is moving towards. And in our survey, business to consumer marketers weren't too concerned about this, but direct to consumer marketers sat up and took notice. So like anything else, this can be mitigated with the right preparation. Among our survey respondents, the top adjustments that marketers are making to address this change are revising their KPIs, segmenting by device, increasing UTM usage, improving first-party tracking, and creating more precise messaging, including transparency about privacy and how data will be used. These are all fairly low-effort adjustments that marketers like us can start implementing today. So in response to this future, we need to consider a new approach. It's time to expand our efforts. Becoming too reliant on one platform or sales channel has proven time and time again to be a catalyst for failure. And as marketers who, for example, were extremely reliant on Facebook advertising recently saw, if you put all of your eggs in one basket, it can be a recipe for disaster. So what is omni-channel marketing and how can it help you overcome these challenges? It's the use of multiple channels to create an aligned and personalized advertising experience for your audience. It differs from multi-channel, which you may have heard of, in that each of the channels are able to build off of each other. Though through omni-channel marketing, you can explore new ways to build your audience segments and enhance your first-party data. These expanded channels include video advertising, influencer or partner marketing, direct mail, and more. Aligning these to your overall marketing funnel will help you continue to discover new opportunities for personalized optimization and continue to build your data without worrying about ongoing privacy changes. So there's a few benefits to this. Omnichannel marketing teams are seeing higher lifetime customer value. They're seeing a larger social reach, an increase in repeat business. The benefits are revitalizing the way that some marketers are approaching success in the digital age. So we've talked about 3 key trends, but how do we take them all together? How do we synthesize these insights? This year and in years to come, we as marketers need to work smarter. Tech-enabled personalization can help us do just that. This is the synthesis of new technologies, the machines, and the practices and creativity that we as marketers bring to the table. So at Postclick, we know from experience, it's never too late to enhance the way to grow your digital business. We see machine learning as the future of global optimization. We've been in the business of personalized advertising for over a decade now, and with just a few years of exploring AI, we've already noticed significant results. We've explored dynamic testing and allowed AI to leverage the expertise of millions of conversion data points. The result is a constant flow of insights and learnings that can help us build experiences that continuously get better over time. And we're able to do this at a scale that was previously thought impossible. So we're also advancing the field of automation. We use insights generated from our AI technology to continually optimize our page experiences that we create for our partners. That means that each audience gets an experience that over time improves its relevance to their specific needs. Automation and machine learning create the perfect pair to exceed consumer expectations, keep up with the growth of the industry, and take back control over our ad spend. So for some of you, this information, it's not news. Some of the marketers in this room, I'm sure, are seeking out new ways to improve their technology stack, seeking out new ways to improve their results. That's part of why we're all here. But whatever technology you're using to set new standards, we want to hear about it. Please feel free to contact us at Postclick in the future, or keep in touch with us by checking out our podcast or following us on social media. We're always open to learn from other marketers and to share our learnings with the world. So I will leave you with this, and then I think we'll have a minute for a question or two. With a shift to an e-commerce first lifestyle, consumers are seeing the benefits of genuine online advertising. And we think that every marketer in this industry, and certainly every marketer in this room, has the potential to not only just play a role in shifting the narrative around online ads, but be the change for the future. At Postclick, we're not just advertisers, and really as marketers, we're not just advertisers, we're storytellers, we're researchers, we're data analysts, and we're creative thinkers. And we all have the power to inspire change in a meaningful way. Whatever approach you take to boost your return on ad spend or create better experiences for your customers, I hope you achieve phenomenal results. And 6 months or a year from now, when your return on ad spend is on the rise and campaigns are pushing industry standards, we want to hear from you, because we want to know what other theories marketers are testing to achieve success and find better results. Great, so thank you all for joining me today at DigiMarCon. We have a few minutes left, so I'd love to answer or take some questions, but it's been a pleasure to share these insights with you, and I really hope that you enjoy the rest of today's event. And if you want to dive deeper into the best practices that we discussed, please use this QR code for a free download of our book on this topic, which explores in more detail some of the topics that we discussed today. Thank you very much, and thanks again to the event organizers for bringing us all together.
Too early. So this might be a very simple question.
My favorite kind.
Good. I own a small business, so we're just kind of getting started with all the marketing stuff. But Could you talk a little bit more about the MAB testing? I know, we've all heard like the throwing the spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks. And I think it's my husband and I own a medical eye practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little bit spread out with my marketing. And I think with him being a doctor, me convincing him, like, let's throw money into this without any proof has been challenging, of course. I think we can all say that about the owner of our businesses. But if you could just talk a little bit more about what you're talking about. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a multi-arm bandit algorithm is a application of machine learning that we at Postclick use to improve the page experiences that we create for our partners. I think relating to your question, this goes back to the point I made about scale and investing in a specialist partner. Because like you're saying, when you're stretched thin, it can be difficult to find the time, to find the bandwidth, or even to find the budget to really hunker down and answer some of these questions about how to reach your customers on a more personal level and how to improve the campaigns or advertising that you're already running. So I would encourage you to check out our website at postclick.com. We also have a lot of material there, but I think there are some challenges, and particularly some advanced applications of technology that are out of reach for smaller companies, smaller businesses, but that doesn't mean that are out of reach if you attempt to start from the ground up and build it yourself. It will take decades of work. But the good news is there are companies like Postclick out there who have put in the time. Like Postclick, we spent a decade building our data and our expertise to help companies like yours solve these problems. So I think the answer to your question is don't try to do everything yourself. Instead, seek out specialists who can help you do what you're already doing at a greater scale. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Hi. Wow, that was loud, sorry. So I love the idea of not just testing A versus B, but testing A, B, C, D, E, whatever, all the button colors. The question I have about that is, doesn't that make it harder to read the results because you're moving further away from statistical significance? If you start comparing, I don't know, 5 conversions to 6 or 7, doesn't that make it harder to actually interpret which one works better?
It does if you run it once, but the benefit of a multi-arm bandit algorithm is that you are continuously learning on what's worked in the past. So at Postclick, the way that our algorithm works is that we will test 4 landing page variations at a time against each other, and then pick a winning variation based on which one gathered the highest conversion rate. But that doesn't necessarily stop there. That variation then becomes the basis for the next set of experiments. So we start by creating a core version, a core experience that we then create variations based off of. If a version that we test in a multi-arm bandit test proves to have a higher conversion rate than that original version or any of the others, that becomes the basis for the next round of experimentation and the next round of experimentation. So it's continuously learning and continuously going. So if you're running this test once, like for example, with an A/B test, you may be learning something and then basing your best practices off of that, or implementing it in your design practices. This is more of an ongoing data-based approach. If you'd like a more detailed or in-depth explanation, I think you'd enjoy reading through this ebook. But does that answer your question at all?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you very much.
And the benefit of that is that in not having to wait for statistical significance, say that 5 times fast, you are able to capitalize on those insights faster.
Cool, thank you.
So hello. Hi. Can you make this one? Hello. Can I ask a question? Hello. Okay, there it is.
You go.
Hi. Thanks for the great presentation. A simple question maybe is, if I'm using WordPress or Webflow or whatever content management system I'm using, can your system integrate with all those different platforms, or are you using unique URLs just for your testing?
Our system is based off of Instapage, which is our sister brand that was built out 10 years ago. It's a platform for building high converting landing pages. So unfortunately, you could conceivably build a multi-arm bandit and apply it to other landing page systems. Ours is based off the one that we know best because it's got a lot of advanced systems. We have a library of templates that let you build landing pages very easily and customize them to specific audiences. So in theory, perhaps, is my answer, but our application is based on our technology.
So does that mean that the URLs are all like branded somehow with Instapage, or I can brand the URLs for my own?
They are not branded with Instapage or Postclick.
Got it.
I'd love to, I would encourage you to check out our website. It has a lot of information about our offerings and the different ways that we can help businesses improve conversion rates.
One question for you.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with AI and machine learning. I've been reading about it for a while. You said something in here that really piqued my interest. You said that AI will never have bias.
I don't know if I said that.
So that's what I heard, right? I heard something along. Did you hear that too? Okay, right. So you might not have meant to say that, right? But I'd love you to go into that a bit more, because we know that to build an artificially intelligent system requires human input, and by nature, humans have bias.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyone in AI knows that as we're building artificially intelligent tools with machine learning in them, that is the nature of avoiding bias by diversifying the data that we put into it. So can you talk a bit more about maybe what you meant, and maybe if I heard that incorrectly?
The phrasing was probably a bit glib.
Okay, I'd love you to talk a bit more about that.
Certainly. So I just want to make sure I understand your question. So the phrasing, the way that I phrased it was that AI has the potential to remove human bias in copywriting. And I think the word bias is a perhaps imprecise way of phrasing that. It is more on the intent of my phrasing was that using an AI copywriter means that you are able to focus on a conversion level, not necessarily on a human truth level but rather you are able to optimize based on what is most likely to convert a customer, rather than I completely agree with you that designing an AI system, the designers bring their own biases to that. And it's something that as we as marketers start to implement technologies, it's something that we need to be aware of and that we need to be conscious of in our own writing. This is part of why my hypothesis that AI will never be truly able to operate autonomously rings true to me, because we will always need someone with a human head and a human heart to look through and make sure that we are adjusting the messaging to mean what we mean. So the scaling possibility, the ability to optimize our approach to increase conversion rates is hugely beneficial to companies like eBay or any marketer that wants to scale out their efforts. But I agree with you that bias may not have been the right word there. It has the potential to limit human, let's say, preference. I know that as a writer, I personally have pet turns of phrase that often wind up in my own writing, whereas an AI copywriter might be able to identify those pet turns of phrase as something that's less likely to drive conversions for a specific audience. So thank you that's a very important point that we should all be aware of as we work with machine learning and AI and help these systems develop.